So my name is Fawn, like a baby deer. My cleaning date is January 6, 2018. I think that the lowest that I've ever been to is living in a tent underneath a bridge in Elkton, Maryland. That low brought me to my knees. I had two daughters out there in Cecil County, and my first daughter was taken from me when she was 2, and then I got pregnant with my second daughter and she was taken immediately. So I had become my mother, essentially, the person I never wanted to be. And I knew that the Bay Area had a lot of recovery, and I ended up out here, and I found this place called Evolve, and met some really good people here, people that I consider family today. And I think that God's way of intervening at that point was putting the police department in front of my way. And thank God he did, because it brought me out here. And this is where I found all of these people and the family that I've been able to create out of it. And that's where I got recovery. And Sarah Burden is the one that opened the door. You know what I mean? It was very small. It just opened up, and I got there probably a few weeks after the doors opened. I had cancer. I had a wig on my head. I wasn't like everyone else. You know what I mean? I was still going through chemo and radiation, and I had still had so many things on my plate that I was dealing with from my past. The wreckage of my past was a lot different than everyone else, but I still had the same problems as far as addiction goes. Everybody was really welcoming, and Sarah brought me into the office, and I told her what I had going on, and thank God for her and all the people. Different set of problems, same feelings, you know what I mean? It felt unique and different, and I still had the same disease telling me that I wasn't worth anything, and I wasn't gonna get my kid back, and I just lost a kid to the state. I signed her adoption papers the day I woke up from my mastectomy surgery. So it was a really hard situation. And I walked into that office and I told Sarah what I was going through, and she accepted me and everything I had going on, the chemo, the radiation, the pain management that I was on at that time, and drug court. They helped me get through everything, and through all the years that I've been around since 2014, I picked up certain people and put them into my life, and they've always been pillars, like Sarah and Chris Peterson. I had the knowledge, I just didn't always know how to apply the principles and the tools that I picked up on the way, and I just didn't use. I didn't have a lot of family that stuck by my side when I went through chemo and radiation. I went by myself. And I used in that chemo bathroom when I felt at my lowest, and I didn't know how to handle what I was going through because my daughter was being taken from me by the state, and they wanted to adopt her, and I didn't have any means to take care of her. I didn't have anywhere to take her if I was able to get her back. So I finally gave up, and I signed her adoption papers, and that was I got that mastectomy, and I didn't have a choice. I was in stage 3 breast cancer when I found out. I had 11 months clean when I found it. I had been living on the streets for over 2 years, and I was backing up 8.5 years backup time, and I didn't really have a choice. So I was honest with drug court when I used, and they let me stay in the program. I had the surgery. They put me in the hospital. I went straight from there to treatment, and then from there I went to Evolve. And then I told Sarah what I was going through. I finished up chemo and radiation in the house. I had second and third degree burns all over my chest from the radiation treatments. And I still chose to come off the Suboxone because I wanted to be clean. I got into a relationship after I was done going through chemo and radiation, and my hair started to grow back, and I felt pretty again. Not too long after that, I found out I was pregnant. So I would say that me and Brooke Foster were the first of all babies. We were pregnant at the same time. And once I found out, like, you know, some things that he was doing, that's when I chose to take my will back and use. Like, I can't even describe the feeling of gratitude that I have when I tell you that it's a blessing to be sitting here, because I should be dead. I shouldn't be here right now. And like, the night that I used, like, Chris Peterson, he sat on the phone with me until they tracked my phone down and found me and busted in the door and dragged me out. And like, eventually I just got so sick of myself that I finally like ended up staying clean. And I couldn't tell you like why or how or, you know, when, like, it was supposed to happen. It just does. And like, I just trust in the process. But everybody is in my life for a reason. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Evolve. Me and my son's father got this apartment together, and I stayed clean, and he decided to use at 18 months clean. I just know that, like, if they don't have a dad and I go use, then they won't have a mom either. And like, I grew up my whole life without a mom. I haven't seen my mom since I was 10 years old. I'm 34. And my mom lives in California. I've only seen her twice in my whole life. And I could not do that to them. And if I didn't have people like Sarah and Chris and George and like all these people in my life that helped me get here, I wouldn't be the mom that I am today for them. And like, that's only through places like this. And like, my kids, like, my daughter comes here, and like, every time, you know, he drives by her, he always beeps a horn, and like, she wears her Evolve sweatshirt to school, and she'd text him and sends him like, you know, her paper on like addiction, and she lets them know, like, if you shut down, you know, recovery places like this or houses or treatment, like, then the rate of, you know, overdoses is going to go up and people are going to die. And like, I'm so proud of her for having like that knowledge and taking her to meetings, and like her being able to share that information with other kids in school. Like, I'm not ashamed of it whatsoever. And she has that education because we talk about it. And I'm just like amazed that, you know, I have that gift to share with her and my son.
From Evolve, what did they teach you that like was instrumental in your recovery?
That the grateful addict will never use. And if you want to show gratitude, you don't use. Because there's no bigger slap in the face when you say that you're grateful for something, but then you turn around and you use. Because to me, you can be thankful, you could say thank you, but if you know what I mean, really want to show that you're grateful, then that comes with action. Action means that you continue to do the work. And that to me means being a productive member of society, because Evolve is nothing but a building block to life. It's not, you know what I mean, you don't live here forever. It's supposed to teach you how to make your bed, brush your teeth, wash your laundry, you know, be respectful to the staff. Not act like, you know what I mean, they're supposed to do everything for you. You're supposed to learn how to do it for yourself. So that's, to me, what it's taught me. Just, I make my bed every single morning, every single day. And I teach my kids how to do the same things. If I didn't have Evolve, like, I wouldn't be just that person. And so I just don't use and stay grateful. Like, I just do the best that I can every single day to be the best mom that I can. And like, I truly love seeing moms get their kids back. And that's one thing that I can say about Evolve is like, if I didn't have this place to like catapult me there, like, I wouldn't be able to do that with other moms. Because like, I've helped so many moms in this place get their kids back and like help them walk through the process of going to court or dealing with CPS or knowing the laws or like helping them fill the paperwork out. I just helped my brother get his daughter back from her mother, and Maryland is a mom state. It's super hard. And like, it was the best feeling in the world seeing him do that. I make it so much harder for myself if I use. I just refuse to use. Refuse. I've watched so many friends go back out. I've lost best friends. I lost my sister when I had 3 weeks clean. I lost my sister. She died. I've never had any of my family support me through any of this. Just only ever had my friends. My children are my greatest accomplishment. My daughter, she wrote this paper in school, and it said, "What is your GOAT?" Like the greatest of all time, like Oprah Winfrey or like Kobe or Michael Jordan, like who's your GOAT? And she wrote my mom, and she wrote this whole paper about how her mom had beat cancer, and she beat like her active addiction, and I've been clean for multiple years, and I raise them on a daily basis by myself, and how I make sure they have clean clothes, and I make dinner every day, and I make sure that they get to dance and soccer and like all these things, and I do it all on my own. And she was like, I'm so proud of my mom and like the person that she's become, and how I didn't have her for 6 years, and I was able to get her back from her grandfather. And like it was like the sweetest thing I've ever read, and I cried my eyes out, because those are the gifts of recovery. Like you can't put a price tag on any of those things. That's a life beyond your wildest dreams. Is when you can fight and get your kid back, and they actually don't hate you. Because I always thought that she would hate me, and she doesn't. She loves me, and she's like my best friend. It's honestly a blessing to be able to do it at all, because I never thought I would get the chance when I was laying in a tent under a bridge. Normal people don't know what that feels like. What I would tell somebody, if they got the second chance to do it the right way, doesn't get easier, but anything that is worth having takes a lot of work. Anything that I have, I appreciate that much more, because I worked so hard for it. If I didn't get a second chance at this life, I'd probably be 6 feet under the ground. And who knows where my kids would be. People have their opinions about any treatment facility that you go to, but at the end of the day, Sarah and Chris, their ultimate goal is to help as many people as they can, and that is the ultimate truth. And I don't care what anyone says, because I've seen it firsthand. They're both really, really good friends of mine, and I have personal relationships with both of them, and that stems all the way back from 2015. I just know that they both want as many people as they can to be successful, and because they want people to live, you know what I mean? And I know that for a fact. So that is my personal perspective on why Evolve is so successful. They just want people to live and to beat the odds, the statistics on addiction. That's my personal experience and what I think.